Good afternoon. Thank you for taking a few moments to review this video. I'd like to share some information with you which will be important for your understanding in terms of how we're going to move forward with a new budget coming out of a very difficult financial year. This morning the Council on Post-Secondary Education approved our new tuition for this next year and the new tuition model at Morehead State University. We believe that the new model, where we charge students on a per credit hour basis, is a much fairer model for our students than the traditional flat rate model. It will result in smaller increases for our students and a better value for students overall. We are grateful to the budget staff and everyone who worked diligently to develop this model. This is work that's been going on for the last 2 years, and we've put a lot of effort into trying to provide a better value to ensure greater access and affordability for our students. We even received some compliments from the Council on Post-Secondary Education as these model and plans were developed and presented. Thanks to the federal government for the largest increase in the Pell Grant, our students will actually see some offsets to the increased tuition. In fact, students taking more than 12 hours in some cases will see a reduction in tuition over this current year. I'd also like to point out that with the crisis that has been described in the newspaper related to the student loan industry, that at Morehead State University there is not a crisis. We participate in the direct lending program through the federal government. 95% of our students borrow money through that program, and that program has no shortage of funds. In fact, our students, both new and returning students, will be able to borrow the money necessary to start and to complete their education. We'll also protect the full scholarship students that are here and those returning and those beginning scholarship students at Morehead State University, even with the tuition increases. We are now putting the final touches on our operating budget, which will be presented to the Board of Regents next month at its regular quarterly meeting. What we have done with next year's budget will allow us to move forward despite the loss of nearly $3 million in state support. As you know, we were at risk of a much larger cut, but thanks to the good work of our faculty, staff, and students and friends, those that had called the members of the General Assembly and urged the continuing funding of higher education, we arrived at a place where the cut was a mere 6% or $3 million. It doesn't sound like a lot when we were considering the possibility of a 15% cut, but it is still significant. So we survived the session, but it wasn't without pain. As you know, strategically we had to make some reductions in the operating expenses of the university, and that amounted to just over $2.5 million on a recurring basis and by $732,000 in one-time costs for a total cutback of nearly $3.3 million. We've eliminated 28 positions that are now vacant or becoming vacant. 7 from other vacancies, positions that are being frozen, and 4 from occupied positions that are being abolished. 3 positions were reduced from 12 months to 9 months. So the breakdown of these reductions would be as follows: 13.5 faculty lines, 5 of which are tenure track, 21 3/4 staff lines, and 4 administrative positions, for a total of 39.25 positions. Several units have been or will be reorganized, and you'll hear more about this as the summer unfolds. We've instituted a phased retirement program where we have put in place a plan for faculty that might wish to retire and then come back and work part-time for up to 4 years if it's a benefit to the unit that they work with. Our first core value is that people come first, and we've tried to operate with that value in mind throughout the detailed planning that we've done this year as we've looked at budget changes that will impact our employees. I want you to know that you as an employee are still the most important asset that Morehead State University has. And from that perspective, I want you to know that I will be recommending to the Board of Regents at the June meeting that all full-time faculty and staff members receive a base increase of $1,000, and hourly employees will receive an equivalent amount through an increase of 50 cents per hour. These increases, along with faculty promotions, staff reclassifications, and implementing the second year of the Siegel study, will cost about $2.1 million, nearly 2/3 of all the new revenue that we expect to receive in this budget cycle. There are some other budget changes that will impact our lives. but I think they're manageable. For example, we're going to delay the replacement of microcomputers for a year, moving from a 3-year replacement cycle to a 4-year replacement cycle. We're going to reduce the scope of our tuition waiver benefit for our employees and their families. We're going to review the program for free classes for high school students, and we're going to dispose of aging tour buses in favor of chartered buses. Developing a new approach to campus parking is something that many people have asked us to consider because we're not very satisfied with the way we're covering green space with blacktop to provide more parking for our students, faculty, and staff. You'll hear more about this later. It will require an increase in the parking fee, but in the long run, we will greatly enhance what we do in terms of parking here. Future financial stability, of course, in Morehead is our long-term goal, and it's going to be largely dependent on what we do to control costs and to increase revenue. I hope and I ask that each of you would be personally committed to getting the most out of every MSU dollar that we spend during the balance of this fiscal year and going into next fiscal year. As we conclude the year this year, let's remember if we can roll a dollar forward into next year's budget, that's a dollar saved for another purpose. Despite the tension and anxiety caused by the budget issues, there have been many positive developments this last year, and I want to highlight a few of those. We improved once again in the rankings by U.S. News and World Report. We remain a top-tier university. We've recruited another wonderful incoming freshman class with better grades and higher test scores. This past fall, we had the largest fall enrollment in the last 3 years. We competed more effectively for extramural grants and contracts. We received state funding for capital construction project, the replacement of our environmental controls at the heating and power plant. That's a $5.7 million project. We were the only institution, public institution in the state to receive such a project. We have received authorization to proceed with the construction of the new Student Recreation Center and the renovation for 2 of our residence halls. We've established a state-of-the-art molecular biology laboratory. We've built new teaching facilities for vet tech students. We've expanded the Wellness Center, and we've assumed operation of the Regional Enterprise Center in West Liberty, which will help create jobs and improve lives for the citizens in the region. We work to strengthen and stabilize the optional retirement program, which is a program that's selected by about 300 of our employees. We help to preserve the Keys Scholarship Program. We improved emergency communications on the campus. We launched the Regional Engagement Initiative. We redesigned our summer school calendar to provide broader access for students. And 30,000 public school children through the Lucille Caudle Little Company were able to participate in arts education, and we were able to complete on time the recertification study for the NCAA. Earlier in the year, I asked you to stay focused and let me and others worry about the budget situation. It is very apparent that you did just that. We remain on course because of your good work toward our goal of becoming the best regional public university in the South. I thank you very much for your commitment to Morehead State University. I wish you a wonderful end of the semester, a restful summer, and look forward to the fall with great anticipation. Thank you very much.